Hey everyone, welcome to the video. This one we're going over the 3-game NBA slate for tonight on DraftKings. Before we continue though, if you could leave a like, and if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out. I really appreciate it. You can also follow me on Twitter at ChrisPinell16. And if you're interested in the spreadsheets about every single day for the NBA season, links in the description below for my Patreon. Anyway, let's get right into it. So on this slate, it's looking like I'm going to go stars and scrubs because we got some good value options and we got some really good spend up options too. So first thing I'm doing when I looked at this slate is I'm plugging in Andre Drummond at center. He's 8,300, and he was one of my top plays last night. I know I didn't get to do a video yesterday. I'm sorry. I'm very busy with NFL. I tried to get those videos out first, and I didn't have enough time to make an NBA video. I'm sorry, but we're back. So Drummond, he was one of my top plays last night in the matchup versus the Pacers, and also Blake Griffin was out, so it just made all the sense in the world to play him. And shockingly, I thought he was going to be very, very high owned. I mean, he was still high owned, but he was under 40%, which was weird. I thought he was a really good play last night. No, he was. And 40% is still a lot of ownership, but still, I thought he'd be like really high owned. But he dropped 32 points and 23 rebounds, which was good for nearly 80 fantasy points last night. And good God, that was crazy. Now, I'm not expecting him to do that again, but I do expect him to be very heavily owned tonight, as a lot of people are just going to look at the game log. But I'm not saying that's not the only reason he's going to be high owned. I mean, it's always been great with Griffin out, and he obviously gets a bump in usage as it went from 22% last year to 25% last night. It's a small sample size, but still. And he also had a massive 1.9 fantasy points per minute. Now, these numbers are going to come down, but it was still nice to see him have a huge game last night without Blake Griffin, because it's going to be the same situation again. Now, obviously, I'm not saying he's going to drop 80 on our heads again, but, Blake's still out, and his price actually dropped from last night. And he's a walking double-double with 20-20 upside here. Nearly got a 30-30 game out of him last night. And Detroit does play at a slow pace, which kind of sucks, but it's going to be a pace-up situation for them versus Atlanta, who plays at one of the fastest paces in the league. So I think he's going to rack up the rebounds, and there's no reason he can't have another huge game down low. So, like Andre Drummond, he's one of the first guys I'm locking in tonight. Then the next stud I want to lock in is James Harden at 9,700, and so my plan, like I said earlier in the video, is to go stars and scrubs tonight by plugging in Giannis, Harden, and Drummond. They're my priorities tonight. You can play Stephen Curry too. I have nothing wrong with him, but you got to take a stance somewhere. So probably not going to be able to fit in Steph Curry, but we'll see. Things can change throughout the course of the day. It's still early morning, so we'll see. But as for Harden, this should be a pretty fun game for fantasy. It's got the highest over on the slate and the highest team, and they also have the highest team total of the slate at 116.8. So the thing here is, though, that Westbrook is in town, so his massive 40% usage rate last season will definitely come down, but it's still going to be absolutely elite. In the preseason, it was still sitting at nearly 37%, which is still actually not nearly. It was over 37%, I believe 37.5%, which is still massive. It's going to be one of the best it's going to be one of the highest for the whole season, more than likely. And last season, he was sitting around 1.6 fantasy points per minute, and if you give him about 35-ish minutes, you can do the math there. He should be one of your highest projected players on the slate, if not the highest. He's actually my highest, and he's someone I want to lock in. So we're going to plug in James Harden here. I guess you can put him to point guard, whatever. Then next guy I want to fit in is Greek Freak Giannis at 10,300, and he's in a position where he doesn't have to share the So James Harden has Russell Westbrook now, and Steph Curry has D'Lo. So they kind of have to split a little bit. It's not like they're going to split. It's going to hurt their fantasy production too much. But so Greek Freak is the only star on this team. So he's the show, and he's an absolute points per minute monster with his 1.72 fantasy points per minute last season, which was actually higher than James Harden. And the thing is, though, his minutes typically don't get up to the elite levels of like James Harden or LeBron or those guys like in the mid to high 30s. He's more of a 32 minutes per game guy, which is actually what I think I got him projected for tonight. But like I said, the guy's a points per minute monster, so he doesn't need to have like nearly 40 minutes a night because he can do the same thing in 32 minutes because he's a stat sheet stuffer. He gets the rebounds, the blocks, the steals, and he still gets high point games as well. So, and also in the preseason, he had a massive 39.5% usage rate, which actually was the highest in the league. And this game's going to have a lot of fantasy production here, and I think Giannis is going to be the main production. I mean, he is. He's going to be the main production of fantasy points on the Bucks side of the ball. So definitely like James Harden and Greek Freak combo in that same game. So those are my three studs on the slate. Now that's going to leave us at 43.40 left remaining, which obviously is not a lot. So we have to find some value options, and one of the places I'm looking at is Luke Kennard at, what is he, 4,700. So his price rose from last night. He was very, very cheap, and he balled out. He was straight money. He dropped 30 real-life points with his great performance behind the arc. He was drilling threes. I don't remember exactly how many he had. I want to say 6 threes. It was something like that. But yeah, he's obviously not an elite dirt cheap value this time around, but I still think he's going to be fine. He should see about 25-30 minutes with Blake Griffin being out, so he's got huge upside here. He came off the bench and was very good. He was very productive. So 4,700, I still like the value there. I think he gets you about 25 fantasy points, maybe a little bit more. If he's hot from the arc, maybe even more than 30 like he did last night. So do like Luke Kennard. I think he's going to be pretty popular, but for a good reason. So now we have 4,200 salary remaining. So we have to really find a punt here because I can't just live in this 4 or 5K range now because I'm going to start running out of salary fast. So I'm looking at DeAndre Bembry here. He is very, very cheap. Let me try to find him here. Yeah, so he is at 3,200. So he's near bare minimum here. And like I said, he's just dirt cheap, and actually have him graded out as the top value on the slate, and he lets us fit in our studs like Harden, Greek Freak, and Drummond. I have him around 25 minutes tonight, and he was around 0.9 fantasy points per minute last year, so you're looking at a mean projection of around 20 points with upside if he ends up having a really productive game. That's really about it on him. There's nothing too exciting here, but he should hit value, and he gets us our studs. So I'm not expecting much, but kind of like Luke Kennard last night. He was like, I believe he was 3,200 or more or something like that. If you get a 17, 20 points, I'm fine because then my studs are going to get 60-some points. So do like putting in Bembry here. He's a pretty good value play. Now we got 4,600 remaining, and I'm only going to do one more guy for you guys, and that is going to be Markieff Morris. Now he was not great last night, but he was whatever. He got about 17 fantasy points, which doesn't absolutely kill you. And he was really chalky last night. Like he was 90% owned in double ups, which is insane. So really, he was irrelevant. No matter if he would have scored 80 points, if he would have scored 0 points, it wouldn't have mattered last night. And like I said, he wasn't really super productive, but he didn't kill your lineup or sink it or anything. But he should still see big minutes relative to his price tag. Probably looking around like 24, 26 minutes. And while he's not a point per minute guy, like huge, he's not a point per minute. Like he's a little bit less than that. He should still do enough to pay off his price tag. No Blake Griffin. The minutes are opened up, and I don't really love the Detroit offense, but there's just so many minutes to go around for cheap guys. So do like Markieff Morris. People got to step up with Blake Griffin being out, so he is a fine value play. I wouldn't have thought we were going to be playing so many Pistons guys to start the season, but we're going back to the well here. They're just too cheap with the minutes they're going to see. So, anyway, guys, I'm going to leave you with this. I like Kennard a lot tonight. Bembry and Markieff Morris is my value plays, and then my 3 studs tonight are Andre Drummond, James Harden, and Giannis. So that's going to be it for this video. If it was helpful, remember to leave a like. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out. I really appreciate it. Follow me on Twitter at ChrisPanel16 if you're interested in the spreadsheets. Link in the description below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. And I try to do these almost every day. It's just I got to put NFL first, but I definitely had time to do it today. So I wanted to put it out there because I really enjoy doing these. All right. Wish you guys the best of luck.